living in it right now. Luke 22:24-30. Then an argument broke out about them, which one should be regarded as the greatest. It's the same thing, right? And he says, look, wait a minute, this is what the Gentiles do. This is what the people who don't know about God do, right? Now, again, Gentile just means non-Jew. So for the Jews, they were the people who were fortunate enough to have the Torah and the prophets, and they were the people who were fortunate enough to know God. Everybody else, they don't know what they're talking about. Pretty much, they're pretty much blind. They're the unfortunate folk. They're the outsiders, right? The Gentiles. And he says these ignorant people, right? They're the ones who are all into like the authority and, hey, you know, this person's the king, so we should all follow them. I mean, do you remember the myths of the Gentile societies, like the Babylonians and the Egyptians? Remember we say their religions like would actually say like the king is related to the gods, and the other humans were created to be their slaves. Like this person is high up, and you know everybody else is way down low, and they were created to just to be this person's servant in the form of a slave, not because they wanted to, but that's just how they were created, right? He says, well, that's not the way of the people of God. That's the whole reason that God freed them from slavery in Egypt and gave them the Torah so they could set up a new society. Rather, let the greatest among you be as the youngest and the leader as the servant, right? And it was the same way with birth order, right? The youngest was always expected to kind of be the servant of the older. For who is greatest? Who is greater, the one seated at table or the one who serves? Right? Normally, it would be the one who sits down at the table. Is it not the one seated at table? I am among you as the one who serves, right? So again, Jesus is doing this whole reversal of fortune thing, and at the same time showing them that God, everything has flipped now, right? That the kingdom of heaven is not about you're not going to enter heaven by feeding God like the ancient pagan religions thought, right? Like so they offer animal and human sacrifices to God to try to appease the gods, right? To try to say, hey, we're giving you stuff. Can you cut us a break? No. You're going to see, right? Jesus says, no, you will eat God, right? God will feed you, right? It's switched. So God has come to serve, not to be served. It is you who have stood by me in my trials, and I confer a kingdom on you, just as my Father has conferred one on me, right? That you may eat and drink at my table in my kingdom, and you will sit on the thrones judging the 12 tribes of Israel. But not because you think that you are better than the other people, but you realize that we're all here to serve each other and to help each other, right? God is love.